Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be a video that was requested from a follower and friend of mine, and it was about laundering your clothes, or the best way to wash or take care of your clothes so that they last as long as possible. So I wanted to keep it brief, but just go through a couple of the things that I do to ensure that my clothes last as long as they possibly can. So the first tip or step is about the actual washing process. If you have a newer washing machine, something probably within the last 10 years, then you probably have quite a few cycles on the machine. It was really important to me that we got something that I read reviews on, that I saw was gentle on the clothes, that it had a pretty smooth drum, and yet also had some good options. So the delicate option is really important to me. And a lot of times I can even use my hand washed clothes. I can wash in the machine if I put them in individual like mesh laundry bags. That to me works really, really well for those very delicate things. But in general, my number one tip would be to wash your items in cold water. There's this notion that, and to be fair, the notion comes from the way that machines and laundry detergent used to be, but it's not really relevant anymore. But there's this thought that if you wash in really hot water, then that hot water is also like cleaning your clothes. So that's the only way to get things really clean. That is not true. Washing in cold is better for you. It's better for your water and your community's water. It's better for the environment. It's better for your clothes. So most of the time, washing on cold is the way to go. And it's better for your economics too, for your budget. So all of those things make cold washing the way to go. Anything that's delicate, anything that's a dark color, colors get faded very easily or much quicker in warm to hot water. Anything that maybe you have sweat in or blood, actually stains in general, we think we need that hot water when it comes to stains, but actually stains set more into the fabrics with warmer water. So the colder water is actually better for that sort of thing as well. There's some question about what things you should wash warm or hot. Some people think whites should be washed hot because it almost not bleaches the fabric, but it keeps the fabric as white and pristine as possible. That's not really the case anymore. That's not one of those things we need to do, especially with better detergent. The thought is also that sheets and items that are made out of polyester, that sort of thing, should be washed warm or hot. And I don't necessarily disagree with these, but it does depend. So polyester, spandex, nylon, all those things, your kind of gym kit wear, those fabrics respond better in the washing process to a warmer water, but that does release more microplastics. So it has a much worse environmental impact, especially because those items are already, not the best for the environment. So there's that. And then with sheets, a pure cotton sheet or a pure polyester sheet, the warm water does kill more bacteria. It is a little bit more sanitizing, warm or hot water, but depending on what your sheets are made out of, that may or may not work. So for me, I don't wash my sheets in warm unless something has gotten on them, unless my daughter has peed or something on them. But otherwise, I don't really wash them in warm because they're made out of bamboo. So bamboo and silk, you are supposed to wash cold, and they're naturally antimicrobial. So those ones are fine to wash cold. So you just have to see. And I really like the tap cold option as well, especially because I don't live in a place, I live right outside of New York City, so it's not like a super cold climate, but nor is it super warm. If you live in a really cold climate and your water below ground is cold, then the tap cold will be maybe a little too cold for your clothes. But typically, tap cold to me is even better option than the regular cold. I will say the only thing that I do wash warm are my daughter's clothes. That sanitizing time. Also, if somebody's been sick and maybe they're contagious, right? You're going to want to wash in warm or hot water. But for her clothes, there's just constantly spit up and pee and that sort of thing. They need to be sanitized a little bit more. So I do wash those in warm. And then if she spits up on me, I will put my clothes in with her load, that whatever that item of clothing is. So that's how I just typically in the washing machine delicate or normal cycle most of the time, and then cold whenever possible. If you don't believe me about the cold, there are many studies out there that have shown that lukewarm or cold water do wash and clean your garments and kill bacteria generally just as well as warm or hot. So you can look those up. The dryer is of course the other side of that, and that's kind of number two. I very, very rarely dry my clothes. I will actually show you a little glimpse of our laundry room. I have these sets from IKEA that we've built. I think it's the Boaxel, though they may have now changed the name of that. But these drying racks are great. The dryer very rarely needs to be used. We really don't need to dry our clothes. Air drying or hang drying works really well. And if you have a dryer with an air dry option, then, and you want something to be like tumbled around, it can kind of release some wrinkles, then that is the way to do it. The thing that I forgot to mention with the washing machine is when you wash something in warm, you actually set in wrinkles more. So yeah, washing in cold and then putting stuff on the air dry for just like 10 minutes or something, if you need something to kind of tumble a little bit and release some wrinkles, that works. But most of the time I try to just dry with like a low heat and then air dry as much as possible. And usually I just hang dry. That's kind of the easiest thing. It does take a little bit more time than just throwing everything from the washer into the dryer, but it works wonders, it saves money, and it's so much better for your clothes. So tip number two with the drying and tip number three, which is the amount of detergent that you use, are both really important for the actual fibers of your clothes, how long they will last, because your clothing breaks down in the heat. The fibers break down, they get a little bit more stretched out. And then if you use too much detergent, a lot of times it seems like the more detergent we put in, the better the wash is gonna be. Like it's gonna be cleaner because there's more soap, but actually the fabrics can't fully get the soap off of them. So they get kind of woven into the fabrics, and that just breaks down the fabric composition. So the smallest amount of detergent that you can use for the load, the better. And if you have a high efficiency machine, you can use even less. So a lot of times people will say liquid is better than powder. I don't necessarily agree, depending on the powder that you use. If you use a high quality powder, that will break down and won't leave residue on your clothes, which is the reason people sometimes don't like powder. So it depends. I like Molly's Suds. I also use Thrive Market powder, that sort of thing. So just kind of keep it something that's really gentle and a high quality one that is made for the kind of machine you have. If you don't have a high efficiency machine, don't get high efficiency detergent. And then when it comes to like a pre-soak, if you have some major stains, I like vinegar. Vinegar is like the magical cleaning agent, but it works really well for stains on clothing as well as odors on clothing. So just need a little white vinegar in that load. Tip number four comes to releasing those wrinkles again. Steaming is better for your clothes and is more gentle for your clothes than ironing. Ironing can be more crisp, so I will iron every once in a while if I need something to like really look polished and put together, but for the majority of time, it is easier and more gentle on your clothes to steam them. And then the last tip, tip number five, which is only going to be relevant to some people, if you pack away your clothes for long periods of time, if you change them out between seasons, if you have clothes that you're going to put away for a long time, please don't use those vacuum bags or really anything where you're going to like really tightly pack your clothes. That can pop seams, that can wear things very quickly. So you don't want to like really squish things down, and those vacuum ones really like push your garments and pull, and that will wear things much, much quicker. Similarly, I like to hang most of my clothes, but I don't do that with really heavy items, and I don't do that with like sweaters. Those will get worn because the fibers will stretch and just kind of get misshapen over time. So do make sure that the garment is something that can and should be hung. If it comes with little hang tabs, there's a reason for that. Do it. It means that whatever straps that it has are not necessarily going to be the strongest point, and you want the strongest point to be the part that has all of that weight coming to it. So those are my tips, trying to keep it really quick and brief. Do let me know if there were some tips that you do use and incorporate into your laundry routine. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in a future video. Bye.